Welcome everybody, we got another addition to the playbook. Today we're going to be opening up Green Court, so let's boom this beach! We got Ninkid, he's going to go in on Green Court and show us how it's done. So our objective here is to be taking out the front shield, or the front rocket launcher and shield, and then we're going to be heading out to the right shield and we're going to be taking that out as well in the same hit. So let's check it out, see what Ninkid's got in store for us. So he's dropping the smoke. He's dropped the smoke first, and then he's dropped the Everspark. You can save that extra flare depending on how many flares you're planning on using during the hit. You can art the rocket launcher because it's going to be in range of our Everspark as soon as she's on the beach. You can art it and then use a universal remote, and she'll auto target onto the damage defense. But here Ninkid's used the flare and there's nothing wrong with that, but we want to make sure that Everspark stays under the smoke until she's going to be using her universal remote, and it is targeted on the rocket launcher before she peeks out. So here we go, she's going to peek out and fire that spark nice and quick, Shazam, and then we're just going to let that go down and let Sparky go down because we don't need to bring her along for the rest of the attack. And then Ninkid's going to use a 1 smoke and 4 boats of Zookas. The trick to using a 4 boat or 4 boat 1 smoke landing is just to drop the first flag slightly lower on the lower end of the beach rather than the higher end. So left in this case, right if it's the right slanting down base. And you should be able to get all of these under 1 smoke. Definitely try it out in your friendly challenges, practice it in your NPCs, do all of that good stuff, and once you get confident in it, you can do it here. It's not a biggie if they sort of peek out right now, but once we sort of get in range of the machine guns and stuff, it would be more of a problem, and the mortars. You can afford a little bit of a peek, but obviously we want to keep it tidy. So Ninkid is there under 1 smoke, beautiful. And then once they're all in position, we can flare on. We don't want the Zookas to spread out of that smoke, but now we are good to go. And then we're just going to do 2 smokes, 2 shocks, 1 either side, and then we're just going to let them take their time taking out their shield. So you see right now the shield is down and the shock hasn't quite run out. So if you wanted to, you could flare the bottom right hand corner and you could throw a smoke down and you could try and save these Zookas for the next part of the hit. It does cost you probably an extra 1 or 2 smokes and definitely 1 flare also. I think Ninkid's just going to let them die on this occasion. So let's have a look. Yeah, he's just going to let them die. He is going to pick up a little bit of an extra GBE from that extra defense he took out, which is all good. And then we're going to be dropping the smoke. Definitely check out this position on the smoke. He's managed to do the same thing again. This time, because he's got the smoke in the perfect position, he can drop all the flags on the right hand side because they can't launch far enough on the right to peek out on the right hand side. And all the Zookas are going to be stacked up really nicely. So there we go. He's just going to let them gather for a little bit, and then he's going to throw his flare and smoke. So you see how they're all sort of converging as they go around this corner. Let's check out the flare point. It's right up here. Anywhere sort of around the corner, up here, around about where the call would be on ransom is good. This is sort of our first option, is just flare straight up here. And then the Zookas are just going to start walking nicely all the way up. And you'll see their path here. This will be the same every time, so definitely check this out. And make sure you get your double smoke perfect. So see how he did peek out the back. It's definitely doable to drop those 2 smokes slightly further back. Those last 2 smokes, see here, kind of overlapped the 3rd to last smoke and 2nd to last smoke. So he could have done that a little bit better, but definitely want that 2nd to last smoke to be a bit further back towards this yellow container, and then the Zookas won't peek out of the back, losing the delay, which could cost him the shield in the long run. That's sort of the number 1 or the most used that I've seen technique for the right shields. The other option is you can drop all your Zookas as Ninkid did, and then drop a flare just in this corner here, just underneath the power cell. And then what that does is if you then throw your next flare sort of on the end, just behind this power cell, sort of between the power cell and the number 51. That power cell is 3 cells across, so just in the middle cell to the left of it, sort of at the power cell's 10 o'clock. And then what the Zukas will do is they'll walk straight line all the way up through these power cells, and then they won't even go up towards the back. It does cost you an extra flare though, so just think about that. Once your Zukas are around about where these 2 smokes are, you definitely want to be flaring onto the shield generator, and then you can throw out your shocks and critters as required. The fire rocket launcher is in range on this case. The critters are a little bit late, but that's fine. The shield has gone down, and that's all we're trying to do for this hit. We're trying to get the front and the right shield down, and some artillery on the rear shield. If you do get there with 4 boats, know that rocket launchers, you can fire 2 salvos with your Zukas before the rocket launchers fire. So if you don't lose the delay, none of the rocket launchers turn, you don't peak or anything, and you have the damage with 4 boats of Zukas, you can flash kill it. But I don't think you usually have the power with 4 boats of Zukas. Just know that you can get away with 2 salvos in that time. So let's have another look. 2 times all the way through uninterrupted. We're going to have universal remote on the rocket launcher, which is perfect. Get that down, and then we're going to be dropping 4 boats of Zukas under the smoke for the front shield. Make sure we flare onto it, we don't forget that, and we get our 2 shocks. Laser is going to be out of range over here, which is perfect. Don't want to be throwing any critters that are going to lure those lasers into firing into our Zukas, and we're just going to let them die, although you could recover them to the right hand side. Next we drop flag land our Zukas on the right hand side, and then we flare up, choosing that right corner or the top sort of where ransom core is, and then we're going to follow this path all the way up and get those last 2 smokes out so that we can flare onto the shield without peeking. Obviously not what Ninkit did here, but it's all good. Got the 3 shocks out, and that left rocket launcher is also in range, so you can throw critters just to distract that one. And that's the green court front and right shields, easy as that, demonstrated by Ninkit and Angry G Vibe. Give us a comment down below if you have a better way of taking down green court. We normally do this for our first hit on green court pretty much every time now, sort of depending on what's on the beach, if we need to do a clearing hit, which we don't like to do. But yeah, that's pretty much how we do it most times. Give us a comment down below if you do it any differently. Give us a thumbs up below the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for more Boom Beach.